So if we can start with the team, obviously nice to have Currie back. Also nice to have some continuity, and that there were only 2 changes to the starting lineup. Obviously, the team that did quite well last week. Can you hear me, Dobbo?
What am I doing wrong here?
Can you not hear anything? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Right. Cool. So my question was, obviously good to have Currie back, and also nice to only have 2 changes to the team, some continuity and selection.
Yeah, I think obviously we did reasonably well last week, and it was important to reward those guys, or not reward them. It's not a charity, but they deserve to keep their places. Currie had a risk of a quad re-tear, but the extra weeks made all the difference. There's been no risk. And great to have him back. He's a Springbok, it will certainly help our lineup play, our set piece a lot. So very pleased with that, and also pleased, as you suggest, with a minimum amount of changes. It gives us some continuity, and the guys seem to have picked off where we were in the preparation before the Sharks game, which is great.
Yeah, it's another game away. It's another game we must win. So basically just same again, another 5 tries maybe.
Look, it is, in terms of the competition, it's a must-win game. And yeah, but so we've been through that for a while now, so we've got a bit of used to it. And I think there's genuine excitement rather than trepidation or feeling of pressure. I think we talked as a group that, we're not so, we're not planning for, trying to get through to a final. We just want to play with the same sort of intensity and style and spirit that we played last week. I think the rest will look after itself from there.
And from a player's point of view, obviously, Dobbo mentioned the kind of spirit that you guys played with last week. How much has that lifted the group?
No, I think it's done as well. I think it's been an interesting last month or last few weeks, which has been frustrating and quite challenging at times. So I think it gave us good motivation, but also just gave us an idea of what we could be capable of. Although, it was a big momentum shift for us. But like I've said before, obviously we're only in the semis now. We haven't achieved anything, but it has brought quite a positive vibe, and I have to agree with Dobbo. I'm quite excited rather than feeling pressure or nervous to be in a semi. We're excited that about what we did last week, and we really just want to try and sort of reflect that again tomorrow evening.
Cool. All right. I think Nathan had the first question. Nathan, if you want to shoot.
Mike, I've got 2 questions, if that's okay.
As per usual, that's cool.
Thanks. Ernest, first, congratulations on pulling off that win last week down in Durban. This week, you face another big task in facing the Bulls in Pretoria. What do you think worked for you guys last week, and something you definitely want to see your side use this week?
Yeah, I think last week, I think just the intent we showed and the intensity we tried to keep up. I think there was still a lot of errors. If you think about it, we lost a few 5-meter lineouts on their try line, but it didn't really discourage us. And I must say, I think we were really proud of the way the forwards, the physicality we brought, and sort of confronting the Sharks, and especially the Sharks forwards and not standing back. Obviously, this week is a whole new challenge. It is a very well settled and confirmed Bulls back, but also the team. But for us, obviously, start with the basics again tomorrow, but also, like we mentioned a few minutes ago, to sort of play with some kind of freedom, and rather than having a sword hanging over your head. I think that's what we did last week. We went out and we gave it our all rather than worrying about the result or worrying to make mistakes. So I think we'll try and take that in and just give it everything again.
Thanks, Ernst. And then the last one, Dobbo. Last week I asked Jake what were his preparations like, especially with the United Rugby champs approaching. He said that he'd be signing a few players, which saw an unofficial move for former Bok Bismarck to Pretoria. We obviously heard of JD moving over to Japan. I understand you guys are already thin at lock for moving forward. Should we expect any signings for Western Province moving forward?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've got some quite good plans. A couple of guys, I'm not going to announce, I mean, that's Mike's job to announce them, and we want to really finish this cycle of this tournament. But yeah, I think you'll see maybe northwards of 5 guys coming in between now and the start of United Rugby Championship. We've been working on for a while. We took a tough view on this, not a tough view. We took, I think, a relatively brave view on this competition, which was to give some youngsters as much chance as we could and not really get those guys in for the Currie Cup. Some weren't available, to be honest. Let's take that's much quoted Marcel Tunison or Sazi Sunday. If we got some of the replacements that in now, they wouldn't have had the experience or that they're going to get tomorrow evening. So, but we are. This is not the team that will be starting in the URC.
Thanks, Dobbo.
Thanks.
John, can you just explain to us around Evan Roos, the reason behind him not playing?
Yeah, I think it's the same reason as last week. He hasn't fully recovered. He's running much freer, and his pain's much lower. But I think what is important, and you've probably seen it in our selection, once we got through into the semi-final, the same argument I was giving you guys a week ago, they don't protect us. Some guys wouldn't want to risk for URC, and some guys needed more time to be risk-free or to recover. And then because we make a semi-final, to rush them back, we'll just say we're not strategic. We're purely emotional in our thinking. So obviously we want to do as well as we can tomorrow, and we really are excited about it. It's dead right. But the same logic that applied for those guys, whether it's Warwick or Ernst, or the only guy that we changed on was Scurra, because there's no risk of a re-injury. And there, we could have pushed Salman. We could have had a longer chat with JD, but I think the team did really well last week. But I want to stick to our plan. We have to have the strongest team we can put on the field in Treviso on the 25th of September. And I don't want to risk. It's not fair on the team, and it's not fair on Evan Roos if we put him out tomorrow and he gets a 6 to 9 month injury. It's not fair on the kid either. So yeah, we're still stuck with the strategy we adopted before we knew we were in the semi-final, and it's not going to change, not this week nor next, if we're on.
My second question, John, obviously when you went up there earlier in the season, they didn't have their strongest team, and you guys gave him a good club. What do you expect from them this time around? I mean, you guys had played them back in Cape Town, but what do you expect from them in the semi-final?
Well, yeah, certainly not the same team. We knew that. We're completely cognizant of that. I mean, I think, the Bulls went off to, it's Rapid Cup final, the first Currie Cup game. We've also had our own travails in the Currie Cup, which I've spoken enough about. But I think it's a really big, really physical team. I mean, we haven't really brought anybody in for the Currie Cup. You know what they've brought in. Some really big, experienced, good players. Some really good young players in the pack. They're very direct. They went on a 9 of 9. They've got one of the world's best flavors in Gerson. I mean, coaches used to fight for the underdog tag. I think you know enough about rugby young that I don't have to fight for it. It's well given to us. So direct, big pack, great mauling game. We have to be disciplined to prevent their entries into the 22. Good kicking game with Gerson, but really the carrying of those forwards is exceptional. Whether it's Elrich, Lowe, I haven't seen their team at Wessels. I don't know, he's starting at hooker, but a lot of big ball carries in the pack, and we're going to have to man up in that respect. So we're up against over the last year they've won all 3 trophies that have been on available, and apparently building a dynasty. So we know who we're up against it.
Adams, as a follow-up to that, final one from me. Given what you guys did last week and what the coach just said, are you guys up for another bruising battle? Are you guys ready for another big one?
Yes. I think we're 100% up for it. I think we, like Dobbo mentioned earlier, we spoke about it, but I think it's one thing to do it a 1 week when everything, your back's against the wall and there's a lot of desperation and stuff. But we really want to give it our best to back that up and to show the same desire and intensity. So we're definitely up for it. We did the necessary preparations, and like I said, I think there's quite a nice excitement for the challenge, and just going head on for the challenge once again, as we did last week, and not worrying too much about the result, but just focusing on us rather. So I think there's a real excitement, and it's once again a great opportunity, which is also exciting.
John, Ashfaq here. How are you, man?
Fine, thanks, Ashfaq. I see you, the Blues Bulls correspondent now from Cape Town.
Yes, I'm
More in the
spying. I'm
Cape
spying
Times
for
about the Blue
Jake now.
Bulls. Hey?
I'm spying for Jake now. John, last week the result, not only the result, but probably the performance. Was that sort of joie de vivre kind of feeling the thing that was missing? Because in other games we've had some brilliant moments, scored some wonderful tries, but maybe not pulling off the result with an odd mistake or here and there. Going forward as well, not only about tomorrow night, but into the URC, is that almost like taking the shackles off, freeing up the guys now?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a lot of how we want to play. It's certainly how we'd like to play tomorrow night, and I think the shackles off is a good way of putting it. I tell you, we were under pressure in this tournament, through fixtures. That log changed very dramatically. If you remember, Ashfaq, in the early weeks when points were allocated, and then we sort of were under pressure the whole time. I think last week we went to that game, and I think it's the same for tomorrow. We, as Ernst suggested, that we not after. I think the game's moved to a Friday, so the Bulls can get ready for a final next Saturday. We're not thinking like that. We just want to produce the same sort of performance. What the scoreboard says afterwards, if we can play the same way, it might well be in our favor. And I think that's the way we want to play in terms of our attack. Be dynamic, get the ball in hand. It'll help that we got ourselves territorial in the right position to be able to do that, because I'm not sure that rugby is as sort of feasible or as practical further out. But our approach, is we're not thinking about other than just producing the same sort of intense performance. Because I think people of the province have felt proud of that performance over the last week. It's just the people, just our normal, the Immensa, the faithful, and we would like to emulate that again. So it is also the way that we want to play in this region, the DNA of the region. I'm just sorry, it's just been odd, sporadic moment up until last week.
Warwick, I see he's on an extended bench. Is he going to be on the bench, or is that still up in the air? And then Ernst, obviously, I think the Bulls are probably going to. Do you expect them to come for you guys through the forwards, mauling game, etc., and keeping the game tight, and testing you more in that areas than the Sharks?
Yeah, Warwick is here, but no, he's not going to play, Stephen. He's unless we got a sickness or something overnight. He's here as literally as an extra player. But we had a plan with Warwick that they play against Treviso on 25th September, and I'm quite keen not to break the plan. Obviously, so much of us wants to put our best, put Warwick on the field, put Evan on the field, have a real crack. But I think what these guys did in Durban shows that they can have a crack without breaking our plan or risking those players.
I think obviously the Bulls, I think if you think about the Bulls the last 10, 15 years, that's what their game's built around, a good solid forward back. I think what Dobber mentioned earlier, we have to restrict their entries into our 22. I mean, if you're going to give them 10 5-meter lineouts, you're going to be under pressure with the mauls or whatever comes with that. But we have our plans, and we hopefully, we'll show up with some attitude and take it head on. But like I said, we must also work smart around it. We can't be putting ourselves under pressure too much to make sure they don't get that many opportunities. And when it is necessary that we stand up physically and give it our best shot. So we know about that, and we also hopefully from our side also in the contact situations, 1 or 2 plans to try and get us momentum and try and sort of lift the intensity and outwork.
Hi, Dobber. Hi, Ernst. Apologies if this has been asked. I had a bit of connection issues. Dobber, just for you and Ernst, for you as well, if you both can talk about it. Does this feel like a semi-final week in the Currie Cup for you guys? and from the outside, well, for me, my opinion, it doesn't feel like that. And you're also having a Friday game. Does this week feel like it, or Aaron, for you, did you guys create that hype, that intent in?
I don't know. Or
I reckon just give him his answer, guys.
okay. No, I think from our side, I think, yeah, I think it's the last year and a half. Nothing has really been normal or as we know it. So it is, I think we have to admit it isn't the normal semi-final weekend. Obviously, it's much different having fans. But I think for us, yeah, it's like the new normal. But I think especially against the Bulls, I mean, it's one of those, probably one, or if not the biggest rivalry in like rugby in the country, obviously, and across the world. So it's still big for us. If you think about some of the names still playing, even with the Springboks gone, it's still big. And I think having had such a good game or building some momentum after the Sharks, I think we really try to approach this week with as much excitement that we can, and to see the opportunity and to make sure that we're well prepared to hopefully make the best of the opportunity.
Yeah. Also, yeah, we just literally, I know it sounds cliche, we're focusing on our own performance, trying to generate the spirit. So we haven't viewed it as, oh, we have to beat the Bulls to get into a semi-final. Nobody's giving us a chance tomorrow. That's a true. Not many people give us a chance of winning tomorrow. And so, you know, we don't want to put ourselves under that sort of pressure. We're playing against a really, really good team, the best team in the country. We know we're out, you know, we are a rank outsider. But so what we focused rather, if I'm making an answer to your question later, than is desperately trying to claw our way into a final, and the pressure of that is to play with some of the stuff you saw last week, and let's see if that can get us across the line. And that's our approach. As us, it hasn't really felt like a semi. We're not sort of lying here petrified that we get knocked out tomorrow night, because that's what's expected. We're genuinely excited about trying to do something special.
And then just for you, please. Dan Duke had a massive game against the Sharks. The time he spent on the field, seems like that combination with Jubes, it is growing. Ruan had a very different game on the wing. Is that the type of combinations that you can take forward? Have Ruan on the wing that provides you front football when he takes it up as first or second receiver, and then maybe have Boogie at the back and then a speedster on the other wing. Is that something working towards URC?
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. I think Ruan on the wing was outstanding last week. It gives us something different in terms of, as you say, carrying the ball up in the middle to get us momentum, try and get in behind teams. Also, he's defensively so good there. I would agree with you about a fast bloke on the wing. I think Dan and Jubers are going well. I think Rick has obviously got a massive role to play. We haven't quite worked out how that's going to fit in, but that is our thinking, you know. And I think we have, and you know, even last week we missed Boogie. Just because of that sort of, you know, that guy, another general on the field. Otherwise, it all ends up on Tim Spiel's shoulders. But as regards those combinations, you spot on, Leighton.
Adam, Dobber spoke now about nobody giving you guys, expecting you to win. What do you believe about your chances? Do you guys believe that against all odds you can pull this off?
I think we have our own beliefs in ourselves. So yeah, there's definitely enough optimism. But I think, yeah, we're going to take it step by step. I think there's definitely, like I said, it's a great opportunity to do something special and do something very memorable for us as a team and for some of the fans maybe. So I think for us, it's just about stepping up to that opportunity and making the most of it. Yeah. It's sometimes nice to be the underdogs. Yeah, if I can say it, we're definitely not just going to roll over and let them take it. So we hopefully going to pitch up again, give it our best and make it a fight and see what happens.
Can you give us some kind of insight into the spirit in your dressing room at the moment?
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, it's quite good. Obviously, got some good momentum after the Sharks last weekend, and it definitely built some belief that we can actually do something special. But I think for now, it's just keeping ourselves fresh and making sure that we pitch up tomorrow and just start again from the start. I think it's a bit dangerous to be still riding on the wave of last weekend against the Sharks and then pitching up and think things will just start happening again. But there's definitely a good vibe in the camp. And like I say, we'll just have to start with the basics again and then hopefully build as the game progresses.
Tavo, Adnanya, how's it going, you and Ernst? I'm actually on leave, but I'm so interested in what's going to happen this weekend. So I just wanted to know, looking at last week's game, normally in for semis and finals, teams become more circumspect in their approach. We've seen in the past the kind of rugby that province is capable of playing when they, play a free-flowing type of game. Just your thoughts on that. We've seen how creative your side can be when you guys are play that kind of rugby.
Yeah.
But Tabo, you can maybe. And
I think
and Ernst as well.
I think from my side, I think the last year or 2 years, we've, like Dobbo's mentioned earlier, try to sort out our territory game without losing our attacking flair and how you said the province rugby. And I think it's been a long time coming, and it's feeling a long time we've been feeling it's coming together, although it might not have always looked like that on the pitch. But I think we're definitely at our best when we play with that sort of freedom. Playing what we see rather than having a plan and being sticking too much to it. So I think, I think we're starting to find it, but it is important to get the balance between when we're being a bit more conservative and when we're actually going and taking the chance or taking the risk and hoping it'll pay off. So I think it's definitely still part of our DNA. And I think that, like you also said, like last week when we played with that freedom and we sort of took a few risks without taking too much risk, it paid off and it brought the best out of the team.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I know Nathan had another question.
Okay, may I go ahead?
Go for it, mate.
Cool. These questions for Dobbo. Speaking on signings, there's a bit of speculation Cohen Bosch might be moving his way down to the Cape. I know you said Mike will be announcing this. Is he perhaps having talks with the union?
No, he's not. He's not, Nathan. No, he's not having talks with the union.
Cool, fair enough. And then last question. I think the past 2 years, the unsung heroes are the faithful fans. Do you perhaps have a message for the faithfuls with all the intangible support that they've given in the past 2 years, especially ahead of this game against the Bulls in the Currie Cup semi?
Yeah, I think from my side, I'll go first. I think Dobbo put up somewhere in the week, he put up a photo of beginning last year when he played the Hurricanes of the railway stand. And it's just interesting, just a photo of a packed stadium. And he was just explaining, like, if you just look at the photo, how diverse it is. And I think that's something really special from us. And the faithful, like you mentioned, I think if you look at our jersey sales and stuff, Dobbo explained, but the diversity of our crowds and how we always have the most supporters in Super Rugby, even though it's not always going well. So I think to all the fans, I think, we're going to definitely pitch up tomorrow again and give it our best and fight till the end. And if it doesn't happen tomorrow, then we'll keep on fighting for the rest of the season. And I think we're really missing the people in the stands and can't wait to sort of get them back. But I think, we'll continue working hard and doing our part to become better and better and hopefully make them proud tomorrow, but also for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and for you, Dobbo, any words?
No, I think it's spot on. I think that the support of the team in the Cape is absolutely incredible. It's we're the best. It's statistics, let alone them, which support that view that we are the best supported team. Whether it's season ticket sales, but also just the passion of the Mensa. And it means so much to us. I think probably we'd be arguably a team that would be the most affected by the absence of crowds. But we so want to make them proud. We sense the happiness, we sense the disappointment of something like Kimberley 2 weeks ago, and we sense the joy just walking in the street. The Mensa's quite via pier. Last week it was. And that's the stuff. So it's just the passion we've got in the Western Province. It's probably the reason why we're on front page of the papers so often. So it's, the people, we desperately want to make them proud. It's horrible not being able to interact with them. It's horrible not to be able to go and train in Blue Downs or go and train in Florida Park and interact with the people. We look forward to doing that again sooner. But yes, if we could do anything to make them proud, we will.
Thanks,
So,
Tony.
yeah, it's last one. If I remember correctly, you guys were in the similar type of position before, where you just made the playoffs and you came into the back door and you went on to win the Currie Cup. Am I correct?
Okay, 2017, Adnan, yeah. Exactly the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can do it.
It wasn't, it's a little bit different up in Pretoria against this Bulls team, but bit of difference. But we're going to give it our very best tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we actually genuinely are excited. Genuinely.
Cool, guys. We're happy with that.
Cool.
Thanks, Nani. Thanks, lads. Thanks,
Thank
Steven.
you.
Thanks,
Cheers.
thanks,
Awesome.
Nathan.
No worries.
Thanks,
All the best, guys.
Mike, you're breastfeeding.